How's everybody going? It's me, Jim. Ladies and gentlemen, the community has spoken. Democracy has taken effect, and terrestrialization is not banned in OU. Terrestrialization is here to stay for the foreseeable future. Some people are furious. They're never playing OU ever again. Some people are celebrating in the streets. It's the most divisive issue Pokemon has ever seen. But here we are. Democracy manifest. On to the next thing, which is all the broken Pokemon in the game. Which I believe was a bigger issue than Terrestrialize. I believe some of these Pokemon are making OU a worse experience than Terrestrialize is. So, what's going to be done about it? I believe how this works is these guys are going to get voted on to be quick banned. And if the Smogon Council has a super majority in favor of banning them, it has to be 7 out of 9 people at least, then they'll get banned. So it's got to be super, everyone agrees that this is crazy. Also, yes, I know it's funny that Smogon has a council. Okay, it's funny. Haha. Alright. It is a bit silly, okay, it's a game for children, and there's a council, they're on the round table discussing in a very serious meeting whether the Goldfish is too powerful or not. And the cheese string mascot from Walmart or whatever is a problem. It's funny, okay? It's a bit silly. It's a bit ridiculous when you think about it, okay? I've seen your comments, okay? You guys are making astute observations about the inherent absurdity of having a council for Pokemon. I understand. But let's move on to the true issue, which is whether the Goldfish is too powerful. Which, yes, of course the Goldfish is too powerful. The thing has 197 special attack effectively, factoring in Beads of Ruin. That's more special attack than anything ever. Plus, it's not even that slow. Plus, it has the greatest offensive stabs. No, not the greatest, but like very good ones. It's decently bulky. It has a lot going for it. It's too hard to switch into. There's nothing that blanket counters it or handles it. I'm sick of those Sun teams where every time they pivot in Chi-Yu successfully, basically something's either dying or taking way too much damage. You just get slowly whittled down by a Chi-Yu repeatedly, coming in and getting a big hit off and then exiting, coming back in. It's too much, okay? It's too much. And I'm running Dragonite on every team because Dragonite feels like the best Chi-Yu answer to me. Dragonite can, with multi-scale, fire resist. You can use Chi-Yu, a Choice Lock Chi-Yu as a DD opportunity, or waste your multi-scale once to come in on it and then do stuff. But even that's flimsy because you don't want to waste your multi-scale. DDing is a commitment. They probably have like some answer to your Dragonite, like Tinglu or Dondozo or something. So that's doesn't even really work. They can just hit and run so easily, you know? And the thing is that at least Chi-Yu is rock weak. So, some sets run boots, but if they're running boots, they're sacrificing power level and they're more manageable. But if they're running specs, they get owned by rocks, which is at least something. But even when they're getting owned by rocks, that health sacrifice they're making, they still get so much out of that Chi-Yu coming in and clicking one button that it's too much. It's too much. And also, they always run with Hatteran to block spikes and like Great Tusk to spin. Hyper hazard management to keep your Chi-Yu as healthy as possible. It's clearly too powerful. I think that this is definitely going to get banned. I think like everyone's in agreement on this one. Everything I've seen, people don't like the Goldfish. So yeah. Cyclizar is here again. And it's interesting in this post that Cyclizar is unique among these Pokemon since it's not offensively insane or broken on its own merits. It's broken for being able to facilitate other Pokemon with Shed Tail and all its insane utility and regen. It's like they gave this guy every good utility option in the world. I really, really, really hate this Pokemon, but I don't know if it's ban worthy. I don't know. Because I have found it decently manageable. It's cheesy, it's a bit silly, but I don't think it's it might be too much, and it might be too much to ask for to handle the free pivot of Shed Tail, along with like knock and rapid spin and regen. Some of them run boots, so they can't even die to hazard chip. This thing just never dies and keeps generating value over and over and over. It's an annoying, stupid bike dragon. But everything's broken in Gen 9. I don't know. We live in a new world. Like, we have no sense of what's good or bad anymore. I've personally have had my... Like, I thought Revival Blessing sounded crazy. Revival Blessing isn't that bad. I don't know. You know, Roaring Moon was on here before. Now Roaring Moon, no one really wants it banned. It's fine. It's good, but it's not banned. You know, we don't know anything. I guess we should... Like, it being on the radar is fine. If they all agree to ban it, I'm not going to be upset. I don't care. I'm not going to defend Cyclizar. If Cyclizar gets banned, I'm not going to be... Well, actually, it was fun. No, I don't like it. But if it stays or if it goes, I don't have strong feelings, I guess. Everything's kind of broken and stupid in Gen 9, so I don't know if, like, Cyclizar is just one of the many broken and stupid things. Now, here's one that I think should be above Cyclizar on the priority list, which is Annihilape. I 100% think Annihilape is too much. Rage Fist is one of the strongest moves of all time. This thing gets so much out of Terra. So much. You become an amazing type, and then... Like, you're very bulky, and you have the greatest possible stab types. Fighting Ghost, it's perfect coverage. And your Ghost move is crazy, and you can 1v1, like, every phasing wall or whatever. This thing is... I think unlike other Pokemon that are setup sweepers that take a little bit of time to get snowballing and get going, Annihilape is like that, but it's also... Rage Fist is constantly getting buffed throughout the game, and when you switch out and back in, Rage Fist does not reset its power. It keeps snowballing, so you can't U-turn. You can't, like, click a basic move, or you're going to feed this guy Rage Fist procs. It's too much, I think, and you have to do so... There's no, like, go to this and it checks Annihilape. I know that in this metagame... There's not really a lot of that in general. A lot of the threats have no solid switch-ins. That's just they have some, but not many. There's like a lot of people using Rotom Wash. But now Annihilape is even adapting to Rotom Wash by running Terra Fire to be immune to Will-O-Wisp and then just smack him with Rage Fist. Which, I mean, if you run that set, that comes with a drawback of Fire being more exploitable than Water. And then you commit to your Terra and whatever, but... I do believe that Annihilape is too much. Whether it will get banned, I don't know. I'm just one man. I think that this should be, like, properly suspected. I don't know if these are on the radar for quick bans, all of them, or if they're going to be suspected. Because maybe Annihilape should be suspected. Maybe we got to get the whole community to weigh in on this one. Because it's kind of contentious. I don't know. I feel pretty strongly that this is too much, but maybe other people don't. I don't know. Garganicle on here is a weird one. But I respect putting a defensive Pokemon on here. It's not often that people look at defensive Pokemon as a problem. You know, if you look in the past, like, sometimes defensive Pokemon are bastards. Like Toxapex maybe should have been on the radar in the past. I don't know. I think that sometimes we gloss over the defensive Pokemon because the offensive Pokemon are the ones that are more obviously broken for obvious reasons, but I can see it with Garganicle. Garganicle is immune to all status effects. Salt Cure is a crazy free click that punishes Steel and Water, the two of the most common types. It has, like, fantastic, you know, instant recovery, Stealth Rock, Iron Defense Body Press, Salt Cure. It doesn't have, like, Raw Whirlwind. It doesn't have some stuff, but it has a lot of stuff. But I don't think this should be banned. I think that this is just going to be the reality of Gen 9, is the Garganicle's crazy. I think that... Yeah, like they said here, counterplay does exist. There's the covert cloak item blocks Salt Cure if you want. But even if you're not blocking Salt Cure, you can dance around the guy. It's weak to Spike's chip. Like, if you're running Spikes plus Goldengo squads, they kind of destroy this guy. And... it's a little bit... passive, a little bit of a sitting duck. I don't love that it also resists ghosts. Like, I feel like this guy is super annoying, but not ban worthy. Like, a lot of stuff's broken now. The reality of the world is that everything's broken. Garganicle is one of them. I think that this should be... I guess, sure, we can discuss it as a community if we think it's too much. But I would say, not a problem. Garganicle, okay. Even though Donkey Kong has been taken against his will and shoved inside the pyramid, you know, that's not ethical, I think. But, like, what are you going to do? That's Pokemon. That's what they do. That's Game Freak. They're freaks over there. They take Donkey Kong and they shove him inside a pyramid and they think that's all right. I don't know what's up with that. Up next, we've got the Emu. Nice to see some Australian representation on the radar. We love this. This should not be on here, I think. Espathra. It's a little bit, like, this was the public enemy #1 not too long ago. Everyone was saying Espathra was nuts. I have not had too much trouble versus Espathra. Ever since I realized that Tinglu is the savior of the metagame. Tinglu, I run on every team. And you just go there and whirlwind it once and you're all good. It takes too long to get going. It's passive. It's not fast enough to keep up with the crazy speed of the metagame. Maybe it's problematic in the sense that there's a guessing game between what Terra type it has and it doesn't have a great standard defensive check where, like, unaware users don't win versus 1v1 because of stored power getting boosted, or, like, you know, it has potentially perfect coverage for anything that can come in. But it's, in my experience, I have not really had an issue with this Pokemon. I think that on paper it sounds nuts, but in practice you can handle it. It's manageable. And here's Chienpow, which I don't know if this is, like, ordered, but I think that Chienpow should be above Garganicle and Espathra in terms of power level and priority. I would say, for the moment, don't ban this guy. He's alright. I think, once again, in my experience, I can handle Chienpow. It's not quite as dominant as Chi-Yu. A little bit because it's more frail. It's more, you know, its typing is worse. It's more... like, a lot of common stuff can handle this guy. Dondozo kind of is a pretty nice answer to it. But then there's, like, the choice band set that can break through anything in the world. Similar to how Chi-Yu can. It's faster than Chi-Yu. It has fantastic stab types as well. It has really good... it's got, like, priority. Sacred Sword is really strong. But I don't feel like it's that crazy at the moment. I think that it could be. You know, it ticks all these boxes of, like, this guy's nuts and could be too metagame warping, but not right now. I think focus on Chi-Yu and Ape. Those are the big guys that I think are problematic. Chienpow, maybe later. Maybe later. And lastly, Dragonite. Not lastly, sorry. We've got one more down the bottom there. Everyone's favorite financial management portfolio manager, Goldengo. But here's Dragonite, who I made a video about that I asserted back then that this was the #1 Pokemon in the game. When we were all flabbergasted at it being able to Terra Normal, the combination of multi-scale boots, Terra Normal, extreme speed was like, that is the strongest thing I've ever heard of. Now that we have more experience in the metagame, I would say I was wrong about that. There are more powerful Pokemon, probably Chi-Yu. But Dragonite is nuts. It is crazy. And it is on the cusp of being, like, too much. But I think that what makes it okay is the fact that Dondozo is everywhere and Dondozo destroys this. Dondozo can come in. And no worries. Also, like, there is Skeledirge, the Terra Fairies that can handle it very well. Clodsire, if it Terras. I mean, having to Terra to handle this is kind of a commitment, but then you maintain the Terra type for the rest of the game, and, like, Skeledirge is likely going to Terra Fairy most games anyway. Also, I think that you can kind of offensively handle it. I actually think Rotom Wash is quite good against it. You can pretty easily break its multi-scale. I mean, pretty easily maybe is a bit of an exaggeration, but you can break its multi-scale with common lines, like, I don't know, go Sizz or U-turn, then go to something. It's got... You can run, like, Ice Spinner, Great Tusk if you really want to, but then you can't it's going to Terra. But then you have Body Press also. If it Terra normals, it's weak to Body Press Great Tusk, which is another thing that's very strong. And then they don't often run flying coverage. Like, that's pretty uncommon on them. So, yeah, Great Tusk being everywhere helps this guy's case in terms of not being too bad. But I will say that Dragonite is like one of the most reliable things in the metagame right now in terms of not only being a win condition, but also kind of like soft checking absolutely anything you want because of multi-scale. Like, Dragonite is like an emergency button versus anything because it's immune to hazards and it has multi-scale and it has Terra. So you can, maybe there's like a booster energy Iron Valiant or something. They've already gone off with their Terra. You know, they can't Terra Ghost. Dragonite in the back is going to stop like some sweeping thing, or it's going to be able to like set up on Chi-Yu, or you take the hit and kill Chi-Yu back, or win the game, or, you know, E-speed the damn Emu. I actually put Dragonite on, I think, every team just because it feels so versatile and does a lot. And I don't know if that's healthy, but Gen 9 is such a weird metagame that I don't know how to evaluate in general. Like, I'm using Dragonite basically as a defensive Pokemon, even though it's an offensive Pokemon. Like, offense is defense or something. Because Dragonite feels like my defensive wall some games, where the fact that I have my Dragonite up means they can't go off with their whatever thing. Because my Dragonite threatens to come in, multi-scale DD, E-speed, whatever. My Dragonite is like my buffer. It's my rock. It's my cornerstone. That might be emblematic of an unhealthy metagame. But that's the thing, is that we're still figuring things out, aren't we? On next is Goldengo, who... Goldengo should not be banned. I'm just going to say it straight up. Goldengo is fine. Goldengo is... It's got the greatest ability that we've ever seen in the world. It's got the amazing typing. It blocks all kinds of hazard removal and like 100 other things, but it's slow. So many common types can handle it. It's just a central Pokemon. It's not that crazy. The meta can be centered around stuff, and that's not bad. The Great Tusk Goldengo interaction is like the foundation of this metagame. Sometimes that's what happens, is two broken guys facing off is like where a metagame centers around, and then that's not a bad thing necessarily. There's not like no counterplay to this where it's like Palafin, where it's just like... There's no way that a metagame could have centered healthily around Palafin, because that was too much, but Goldengo is not too much. Goldengo just has such utility. And the thing is, like, I play old gens where defog didn't exist. You know, in old gens, you could reliably stop hazards by going to a ghost type, because ghost type block the only type of hazard removal, rapid spin. You know, Gengar in Gen 3 completely blocks rapid spin. Games can hinge on you making a bunch of spikes and then stopping at nothing to spin block all of their attempts to stop the... And then there's a cat and mouse game between you trying to hit the spin blocker and all that. And I'm kind of happy that that's back, where there is a bit of counterplay to defog now, because I don't know, like, defog was I'm not going to say it was a bad move for the game or anything, but I do like the rapid spin versus ghost type matchups. And it's a shame that there's no Pursuit anymore. Pursuit would be nice because it would keep this thing in check a little bit, maybe. I feel like ghost types were kept in check by Pursuit for all these years, and now we're reaping the error of our ways, and we've let ghost types run rampant. But I do like that, like, some of the things in this metagame, you need to make spikes to deal with them, and then Goldengo is the glue that keeps spikes in the field. Like breaking through Dondozo, Tinglu, Annihilape even. I found the best way to deal with Annihilape is to make spikes early on so that it can't come in and be a bastard. You know? That's kind of the way to deal with Annihilape. Even though that's a lot to ask. The spikes are good in that way. And there's not like it completely blocks spikes, because you can kill it. Like, Great Tusk is the spinner, and it has Knock Off and Earthquake and Headlong Rush, which all target Goldengo. That's why I think it's fine, because Great Tusk is in the game. And Great Tusk can literally spin and also kill this thing. And it's faster jolly. It's faster when it's jolly. So this thing needs to be... If it's Scarf, it's locked in. Great Tusk can play around this in so many different ways. It can outrun it and just smack it. It can break its balloon when it comes in with knockoff. And then you can find the spin, and then that can be There is ways to spin. You got to kill the Goldengo. Anyway. Whatever. Maybe people disagree. They want Defog to be good. Plus, you can't whirlwind the guy. You can't taunt it. You can't whatever. But also, Goldengo is an honest Pokemon that has never scammed anybody, nor is it given any dishonest financial advice. And that's what I believe. I say Goldengo is epic. Alright, folks. Thank you for watching. Thanks to the patrons. You guys are great. Thank you to Keith, the most recent patron, and also Mini Mike. Thank you for your continued support. And also everybody else on there are cool. Check out my other videos. I got some good stuff coming soon. You guys are going to love it. Let me know what you want to see me make videos about, whether it's off-the-cuff discussion like this one or edited content. Short, digestible, edited content for the YouTube algorithm. That's also something I can do for you fellas. If you just make your voice heard, I will listen. Thank you very much. And goodbye. Like and subscribe also. I've waited till the very last moment to say that one. But if you've watched this far, please do it. That would be great. I would appreciate it. Thank you very much.